There's
So
something we didn't talk about.
what was that?
Christmas sweaters. Our
Well,
ugly ass.
two of us at least understood the assignment.
Yeah, you just got an
I
ugly shirt on.
first
Grill 'em.
baby, it's cold outside.
Oh yeah, we can't. That song's canceled, yo.
Yeah, it
We can't sing that joint no more, yo.
it did go through a attempted cancel
I
culture.
think we talked about that, right?
I feel did we talk about that before Wally got on the show?
Yeah, I don't remember talking about it with y'all.
We talked about that, how people were trying to cancel that song, like because it's like how it sounds in today's climate. But like if you actually listen to the lyrics, it's she is complicit in everything that is happening.
Even when she's like, "I'm trying to run away."
Yeah, but the thing is, it's like she's not like if you know that like when that song came out, like the era of like a woman's reputation was just like everything. So you staying at night at a gentleman's house unchaperoned was scandalous, and so it's like, oh well, he's like giving you all these reasons why you should like, oh, the weather's crappy outside, or oh, have one more cigarette with me, or oh, have a drink, and she's like, oh, but I shouldn't, but oh man, there's just so much alcohol in this drink, I just can't possibly drive. It's weather, there's so much snow, I couldn't possibly call for a cab. It's so dangerous outside. I'm just gonna have to stay.
Yeah, that seemed like some shit that happened in the movies, but in real life.
Yeah, it sounds like she's
all
screaming
the,
out for help.
he in his head, he had all the creepiness going.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
easily
girl,
see it either way.
Where you going?
You can easily see it sliced either way.
It was like, you know, you can't go nowhere based on these societal norms and shit. So why don't you come over and sit there, booty down on this chair?
Yeah, no,
and drink
it
this
sounds
drink.
like she's trying to leave, and he's trying to tell her every reason to stay.
Yeah, it sounds like the part before shit gets violent. You know what I'm saying? Like he's
took that to a
she's
dark
she's like,
place.
no, I gotta go. It was nice seeing you. I gotta leave. Nah, girl, like come on. And then the song stops, and then who knows what happens after that shit. But that joint had all creep vibes. I don't know. I'm rapping.
But wait a minute, I thought weren't you the one that says that in all situations it's okay to say no? Didn't you say that?
Yeah, and again, like if you're talking about like the context of that song, like he was giving her all these reasons that she could stay, that she could have excuses to stay and not sully her reputation. Like that's one of the interpretations of the song. I'm not saying that it is the definite, and I'm not saying it's the only, but it's one of the ways you can interpret that song. Like if she wanted to leave, she was gonna leave, but she was like, "Oh yeah, it is bad outside. Oh yeah, I have had a lot to drink. Oh yeah, my hair looks a mess. I really shouldn't go anywhere right now." Like you could slice it either way, and I'm not saying that one interpretation is more correct than the other. I'm just saying that
I feel you.
there's different ways you can look at that. Like as a female, I'm telling you, there's more than one way you can look at that song.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, it's hard arguing about something in the 20s or in the 30s, whenever that song was written, and be like, I know for sure what was going into that, because I don't. But it just sounds creepy.
Yeah, and in today's ears, it definitely is like, oh, he's trying to coerce her to stay inside and stay with him all night, and it's like,
Sounds like a guy.
But then on the other hand, like he probably.
I mean,
Oh, he
yeah,
was.
He was,
Yeah,
damn
he
it.
was. Like, I'm
Oh,
not
no,
saying
I-
that he wasn't, but it wasn't like you could.
Yeah, I wouldn't want her to leave
Oh,
either.
No, it's like, no, you absolutely could be like, no. The intention absolutely was for her to stay with him through the night, but the idea behind it
Every
is
time she left, I didn't want her to.
wow, wow.
Hey,
I was like, you don't have a night bag? Like,
yo, you are,
A
you are
night
something
bag?
else.
oh,
A night bag?
you never bought a night bag? Hold
A
on.
little weekender.
Like what? Like you never had a night bag, like to go over a guy's house?
No.
Well, you do the drawers in a paper bag with a toothbrush thing.
Yeah, it
you
was
just
like
head
that.
home in the morning and shower and change like a normal person.
Well, We had okay. I'm gonna.
I was like, you already started, man.
I know. I was like, well, do
You
I
gotta
really
commit.
Want, No. So one time I had a girl come over and she brought like a bag, which made sense. But then she brought her own pillow, and I was like, I got pillows here. Like, why are you
Nope,
bringing
nope.
a pillow?
Nope.
But
Per
she
pillow.
was.
You need your own. You need your pillow. Some people are extremely specific about their pillows.
And I was like, all right, whatever. I mean,
You're a massage therapist. You know how important an ergonomic pillow is?
I just thought it was strange. Like, I understood the night bag, but she made it seem like I didn't have pillows. But like same way,
my
you
God.
try to make it, same way you try to play me and make it seem like I didn't have an ironing board or something. You know
I
what I'm
didn't.
saying?
Whoa. He
I did.
does.
Oh,
He
okay.
does. Actually I used it to flatten out this here piece of fabric.
You know how she likes to iron things out.
But with my hands. With my hands when I get nervous. But no, I never said that you didn't. I was simply pleasantly surprised that you had one.
Okay.
Because
Yeah,
not
'cause
every
you're-
bachelor has
Stop
one.
joning. Like this is not that time of day.
Because I don't have a Chase pillows and I don't have all these other things. No, that's cool. I got you. But we haven't even started the show yet.
That's true.
Like shit.
That's true. God. Anyway, welcome back, everybody, to the Two Guys and a Girl podcast. We got ourselves Wally B, I am Mimi, and Big J.
Why aren't we going with Princess of Winchester? Like, why are we not going with
Because
that?
that's not a thing. Because that's not a thing, first of all.
Oh, Princess of Winchester is in the lexicon.
Princess of Winchester is good.
No.
It's a good one.
Oh, you know what? That
No.
should be your new TikTok.
Princess of Winchester. Well, I guess I don't have to ask anyone on my live this evening what my new name should be.
Okay, we're
The-
jumping
the,
ahead in the story, but yes.
The,
Prince-
the
no.
Duchess of Stephen City.
Bro, pump the brakes. At least you didn't say like Baroness of Berryville or something like that.
Baroness of See,
Ain't
it just
Berryville all
rolls off
woods
the
though?
tongue.
Do people even live there?
Yeah, people live there.
Oh, okay.
It's not all woods, but people live there.
I like how this stuff just like we're just naming obscure places.
No,
and-
these are places in and around where I grew up. They're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
obscure. They matter to me, Jay.
No, okay.
Back when,
I
back when Mimi
expect
was
that.
Pleasant Valley Avenue pimping,
You take
beating
that.
down a block.
You take that back.
Beating down the block.
You would take that
Listen to
back.
Jibs. Like, what is going on?
If you're not from Winchester, you don't know. If you don't know, you don't know.
All right, now she's like, if you know, you know. Yeah.
It's pretty. It is what it is.
Anyway, on to the show.
We've all been to Winchester, though. That's the funny part about this.
Yeah.
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 That's
even,
right.
Even Big J.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's talk, Mimi. Let's talk to him about the conversation that we had before he got here, when he was like, Mimi was like, "Oh yeah, Ghislaine and all the people that's going on there with like the Bill Cosby, not Bill Cosby,
Bill- No, his day has come and gone.
Bill
Clinton.
Bill Clinton and Donald Trump." And she's like, "Yeah, you automatically know if there's terrible things going on around you, like
In that environment, yeah.
But I told her there was a party in Winchester where there was coke and there was underage people there, and I didn't know all that.
Yeah, you're right.
See, that's what I was
You're right,
trying to
you're
And
tell
I'm
her.
not saying
You
that
don't
that
know.
never happens, but I'm talking about in situations like with the whole like Ghislaine thing and the little island, Epstein's little island, that you know. People don't just casually go to places like that. You don't just go casually party at
you
a
wanna
place
know
like
who else was
Epstein's
there?
house.
You want to know who else was there?
Underage kids.
No, I'm saying
talk
there
about
were a lot of stars that were there. I'm surprised that what's that dude from ER? What's this guy? He had the like the
You're gonna be more specific than that, my guy.
He had, like-
There were a lot of people on ER.
but he was like the real famous dude.
The dark-haired one.
Uh,
Noah.
a lot of women
was it
find
No-
him sexy.
Was it Noah something?
No. He was like early ER. I can't think of his name. He went on to play Batman.
George Clooney?
Yeah, he was.
You better
hanging-
remember his name. Yo, I was like, he can't be talking about George Clooney this
Of
whole
course
time.
I could. No,
that was
I
the
can't
first
remember.
person I thought of.
I'm-
George Clooney.
No, I'm terrible with names. No, but like he was hanging out there. Matter of fact, him and Ghislaine actually hooked up a couple times.
Yeah. Was she 14?
Yeah,
We
man,
were
yeah.
just talking about like
I'm just-
knowing what's going on, and not everybody knows what's going on in scenarios like that. Sometimes,
Do I mean it was 24/7 debauchery? No. But more times than not, in those situations when you're rubbing elbows with those folks, like you know what's going on. Even if you don't participate, you know
Yeah.
what's going on.
I don't.
You can make those assumptions. You just know, because otherwise it's like, these are awfully younger. I didn't realize that Jeffrey had kids.
Wait a minute. Do you know all the time how young or old a girl is, Wally? Like let's keep it a stat, because if we're gonna keep it, if we're gonna talk about that, let's really talk about it. I don't always know how young or old a girl is.
Yeah, me and Chris were talking about that yesterday, and like basically, if I look you in your face, you know what I'm saying, like I could usually tell. You know what I'm saying?
You can tell if someone's like
not their exact age, but maybe if they're around, say somebody's around 17 or 18. You know what I mean? Like that you definitely know how old they are within a general range.
okay. I can
don't
always
take
tell when a
much.
girl is okay. She's danger zone. Like where it's like you're looking at her and you're like, doesn't look 20. You know what I'm trying to say? She looks young, but it could I could be off by 2 or 3 years, or I could,
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
and I'll just stay away.
exactly.
And
That
you're
happens.
right.
That happens on
Yeah.
TikTok, where I'll be like, she's
That's an awfully nice painting you're doing there.
all right, guys. I've been meaning to get to this. We're gonna get to
Yo.
this. Hold on a second. So
That is funny.
I've joined TikTok, and there's an algorithm. All right. And on the algorithm, if you look at a video for a long time, it will give you similar videos. That's how algorithm works. I happen to be scrolling on my TikTok, minding my own business, and there happened to be a woman painting a door.
It's
And-
not a euphemism. An actual woman painting an actual door.
Of course, because I'm that kind of person. Like, I am wholesome. So when I was watching her paint the door, I was like, oh, this is awesome. Like she's getting a whole bunch of comments about how terrible a job she's doing. You know how YouTube trolls are. And not YouTube, but TikTok trolls are. But, she's painting the door. And so she's blonde. She's white. She has her bosoms exposed.
Well endowed young
But
lady.
I was there for the paint. Now everybody else can shut up, Wally.
Continue.
No, I already heard it in your head.
I'll get in where
Yeah,
I fit in, bro.
He was like, "Yeah, you were there for the paint." Okay, and so I was there for the while.
You were there for the Wally.
Whoa, hold on, Playboy. I didn't know you was following me like that.
I was there for the Chad. No, I was there
This guy. Oh
for
my
the
god.
paint and the transformational part about the paint, because I felt her watching other people paint and painting is calming for me. So I was there for that. Now, whenever it got to a point where I'm like, okay, let me see what else is going on. I didn't quite realize at that time I was young to TikTok. I didn't realize if you watch a video for a long period of time, it is now going to give you similar videos. But it wasn't giving me similar videos in the aspect of the people painting. It was all large chested.
Not from what you told us before.
What was that?
There was a gentleman painting, and you scrolled right on.
Yeah.
You scrolled right on,
Yes.
and then you're like,
no, because I don't want to watch a dude
nope.
paint.
See,
That
there you
wasn't,
go.
I wasn't wearing for the dude.
Then what is
paint.
the algorithm supposed to think?
I mean, now me and my algorithm get along very well.
Okay.
I clearly have a thing for Spanish women, so now my algorithm gives me exactly what I like, and we're really good.
Okay, so now you get to watch your painting while you paint in peace. But instead of the door is the ceiling.
Yeah, no,
I hate everything about this conversation now.
No, I love the fact that because everybody these things are supposed to be intuitive and they're supposed to conform, which is actually kind of a little scary, right? Because it's like Google cookies are that way.
Yeah, like
YouTube,
everywhere.
like
Yep.
all
Oh,
these
yeah.
things are all it's all a little kind of nasty, because pretty soon it's like all these information gathering sites are going to pretty much start not cloning people, but like the AI intelligence, they're just going to replace people with like robots and machines and stuff. Because look, they got all our data. They know what human beings essentially are like. It's based off of what we've, when we click like or dislike or whenever what we research and stuff. So it's
The
like,
real danger lies in how the companies take and use that data.
why do you say
It's like-
danger, Wally?
I mean, because like you just said, like people got all your info, right? Like
Mhm.
they could be tracking any number of things from like your behavior, the websites you visit, and that kind of stuff. It's just all about the company who has it. How do they use it? They could be getting all that information and really just filtering it in a way where when you go back to that app, you get the stuff that we think you want. You know what I mean? And
Yep.
that's it.
Yep.
But there's other companies that take all your information and they take the stuff they don't need and they
Sell it.
bundle it up and sell it. Yeah.
But then what happens to the whenever we willingly donate DNA to these people and
We
say,
already have.
It's the same. It's the
we
same
already
concept.
have.
It's the same
What do you
idea.
mean?
Like in good.
How do you think 23andMe is getting all these new products they coming out with?
no, that's what I'm talking about. Like when
They
we
literally have
Yeah.
like collected everybody's genome data.
but that's what
you
I'm
know
talking
saying?
about.
Yeah.
What we but people willingly gave that up.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
And that's what I'm saying. Will we willingly use these sites and we willingly give up our DNA? It's like, for me, I'm like, what is the play here? Because, like, why are they collecting so much data and why are they literally, why are we willingly giving them our DNA?
Superhumans.
The interesting thing about wondering about what the play is here is that you already know what it is because you literally, it was the first thing you said. What the play is, what you said. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is it. And it's just been it. But it's so obvious that, like, you'll probably just think right past it trying to figure out what they're doing with all this information. Like, nah, they get it, they use it, and sell it. Yeah, you were spot
Sell
on.
it to what means, though. Like, what is the
People who like identity thieves.
Yeah, like identity, not even just identity thieves, but like, other companies who are trying to increase their sales base. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like,
Who
Yep.
farm for information,
Yeah, yeah.
essentially.
that's how you get all those, like, that's part of the reason you get all those robocalls, like spam emails and all that kind of stuff. That's what that is. Like,
Yep.
your data gets bundled up. Somebody buys it, they use it for what they want. And like I said, the difference is in the danger because there's some sites that'll collect a whole lot of the personal information, like, like IP addresses and there's other stuff about your computer and your online experience that, like, probably don't want somebody else to have like that. But then there's companies that do stuff like they'll take all that information and they'll basically say, so, like, this person is on their phone looking at news about the Kardashians, right? Our system over here recognizes that user as like a string of numbers and letters. That string of numbers and letters was clicking on Kardashians. So next time that string of numbers and letters like activates or logs on or connects to the website again, we're gonna send them Kardashian stuff. And in that way, it's not really dangerous to anybody. You know what I'm saying? They're using it to personalize the experience, but it's all about the other kind of stuff they do with that data, which is what a lot of these big companies are doing, is packaging it up and selling it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking about people information and whatever they're doing with it, I just wanted to briefly touch on Jussie Smollett.
Ooh.
And I just wanted to say from the very beginning, I knew he was a liar. And so
You did call that. You did call that. You were like, that shit is fishy. There's something wrong with his story.
Well, come on, it's cold as shit in Chicago, man. Like, nobody's walking around with bleach in a noose, and nobody's gonna. If somebody is a racist, homophobic bigot, they're not gonna be watching Empire. It's not even a good enough show.
yo.
It's not even a guilty pleasure enough show to be watching it. It's not like, oh yeah, I hate all old white women, but I watch the Golden Girls. Like, like the Golden Girls is good.
I
So
love the Golden Girls.
Yeah, the Golden Girls is good. DMX used to watch the Golden Girls. Like, that's like a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, yo.
Empire is not a guilty enough pleasure enough to be like, even if you hate, it's not even a good enough hate watch. So, like, I didn't buy that at all. And then I was like, and then he made himself to be Superman, where he's like beating up two dudes, and I'm like, Jesse, like, I don't believe. Now it's just like remember he compared himself to Tupac. You remember that?
Oh my God.
He was the gay
Did he
Tupac.
really?
Yeah, he was gay Tupac.
Why?
Because he was, I think
There is no comparison.
well, for him, he wanted to have street cred or whatever that means, and I think
Is
where
that-
is
is that what
Jesse
this-
from? Like, I forget like what his his family, did he grow up like with with bread? His family was well off.
his sister.
Yeah, I know his sister, but I don't remember how they like.
I think they're they're mixed, obviously, but I think they come from an entertainment family, so it's not like he was.
That's what I was kind of getting at. Like, he pulled that shit that people remember last week we were talking about, like how people are born into like privilege, just kind of carry themselves throughout. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about like people who crave these high power positions. When you born into something like that, like, it's way easier for you to like feel that entitlement, right? And if there's one thing because we always talk about race, because like how the fuck can we not? Like when you have those situations where like white people be lying on black people in public. Sorry, man.
I felt compelled to lift my hand.
I felt compelled to do it too. He did it, and then
I was showing the camera the black side.
I was showing them black side too,
And then there's me.
It's all good. It's cool.
She was showing her
with my clear tan.
She was showing them the 11%. Yeah.
11%. Stop it. Anyway, it was
But
just
like when you like there's situations like we see them all the time where like on video there's a white woman and a black dude getting into it, and then like all of a sudden the white woman's like, oh my god, he hit me, did you see that?
yeah.
And everybody's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Never even
'Cause, like-
got near you.
Because they're like used to being able to like blame somebody for doing some shit like that. Like I can just tell somebody that he hit me and they're gonna take his ass away. I feel like that's like that entitlement is where Jesse got to. You know what I mean? Like as an entertainer, he's like, yo, these motherfuckers, like they really like there's people that really hate gay people out here. We gotta make an example out of them. Like he thought that he could really like have this scenario like change something. Like he really thought he could like weasel his way into like being
Almost like
an icon and
gay
like-
heroism.
yeah, exactly.
I just didn't understand that. Okay, you literally peaked. You were nothing really before the show, other than Journey Smollett's brother,
Yeah.
and now you're on a hit show that's coming to an end.
That y'all not over yet.
Well, it was coming to he expedited his end
Oh yeah. He
Mhm.
did it, yeah.
by doing this stupidness, which was crazy to me because it's like, why not just ride the wave, my bro?
Yeah,
Like,
man, just chill out, dog.
yeah,
Or just continue riding that wave, but be an actual real life advocate for the LGBTQIA community. Like
Right.
in a legitimate, like real life, meaningful
Like,
way.
if you angry about all this stuff,
Then do some shit to
yeah,
change it.
like when people be doing stuff like this, I'm just like, how do you not see the intersections within your whole life? Like, how you been black your entire life and think something like that's gonna work in your favor? Setting up a situation like this.
yeah, no.
How could you possibly? How could you've been black your whole life? You've been angry your whole life. How do you not take that and just see this situation that you in the light that it's in? You know what I'm saying? It's confusing to me.
Well, why isn't just being a part of a hit show and being openly gay on that show, not enough to just? Why isn't
That's
that
enough to
level of
inspire people. You
yeah?
know what
Why
I mean,
isn't
right?
that enough? Yeah, I think that would be my only thing. It's like, why wasn't that? Why did you?
He didn't
need
have to go that
the-
extra.
I'm almost wondering if it's kind of like the case of because he was born into a family that is in the entertainment industry, so a family that kind of had a name already made. And I wonder if for people like that who like kids of famous parents or who come from like a line of famous people, I wonder if because I'm also thinking of Nicolas Cage, and he's Francis Ford Coppola's son, and for the longest time,
Holy shit! I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
there we go. You were today
I
years
didn't-
old.
Yeah, I didn't
when
find
you
that
learned
out
that.
too long ago either.
But he changed his name because he didn't want to be associated. Like, I don't want to be famous just because my dad is famous. I want to make my own mark
Yeah.
on the world. And I'm wondering if, now granted, this was not the way Jesse should have done it. I'm almost wondering
Like
if.
Charlie Sheen.
Oh, Emilio Estevez.
Estevez.
Emilio
Yeah,
he
Emilio
kept the family
Estevez.
name, even though his father and brother
Brother
changed,
Martin
whiteified
Sheen.
their names.
Martin Sheen.
Martin.
Yes.
Sheen, yeah.
And so I'm wondering if in his own, at the time in his brain, it was like, this is how I'll make my individual mark on the world. I'll be the face of like gay bravery or however he spun it in his brain. I wonder if maybe that's where some of his motivation came from.
Yeah, like
Poorly executed.
between that and the entitlement and all that together, like I could definitely see him trying to like, all right, I'm in this position, I can do something, and like convincing himself that like this shit was gonna work.
Yeah. Like no one was going to dig a little bit and find out that just none of that made sense. None of it made sense.
So one other topic that I wanted to briefly touch on was I wanted to touch on the Travis Scott Astroworld thing because we didn't talk about that when that happened.
Yeah, we did not.
So I hate the whole instant. Well, now there's the whole documentary stuff, and now there's the instant documentary stuff. But what I did find interesting in this instant documentary that I watched on Travis Scott, because it wasn't about particularly Astroworld, it was just about his behavior at concerts in general. This guy whips his crowd up into a frenzy, and
Yeah.
he calls these guys ragers.
Yeah. He encourages that kind of like wild behavior.
I physically saw a video of him encouraging people to jump from a second-story balcony on down, and he said, "Go do it. People are going to catch you." That's all cool until someone doesn't catch you, and the person that didn't get caught ended up becoming paralyzed.
Yeah.
And he got dragged up towards the stage, and Travis Scott was like, "You know what? Take this ring."
Thank you, my lord.
That's what he did.
Come on.
That's gross. That's
Jock
gross.
Stevens, I think that's his name. I know his first
Yeah.
name is Jock. Jock thought that was enough. Because it's hard for me to call you Travis Scott and give you your stage name if you're literally responsible. Well, a lot of people are responsible for what happened in Astroworld. Like,
Yeah, that was a little. There's a lot more moving parts than just like him. But
that's
like,
what
I
I'm
see what
saying.
you're
But I
saying.
do think he
Yeah.
created the atmosphere.
Oh,
like,
100%.
Because people knew what to see. Here's the thing: people know what to expect based off your past behavior.
Right.
If you've shown a past behavior of have total disregard of your audience members, and it's all about, rage, come up to the stage, no one's gonna stop you. Yeah, freak, go crazy. If you're encouraging that at your concert, people know what to expect, especially in your hometown.
Yeah,
People who
yeah,
follow
exactly,
you,
yeah.
people who are invested into your career, they know what kind of things to expect. Just
On
like
top of that, this is
Good.
like a whole almost like year and a half after that album came out, right? Astroworld.
uh-huh.
He been riding on Astroworld for like a long time, and like so many more people know about it. You know what I'm saying? It's so much bigger of a thing now than it was like before COVID or whatever. So like there was even more fuel on that fire.
And like I said, it is tough just to blame him because, like I said, there's Live Nation owns a certain amount of responsibility, security for the
Definitely.
event. There's a lot that goes into that. But what I do know is, if you are watching an ambulance and your audience, show got to stop.
Yeah.
Has to stop because we need to figure out why is there ambulance here.
And there's precedent for that in other big ticket concerts. Like people have stopped their shows. Like there was one where a kid went missing. I forget what the woman's name. I think she was a Swedish entertainer, I think. But there was like a kid at one of her concerts, a child maybe 8 years old, 6, 8 years old, who went missing, and someone ran up to the stage and went, "Hey, this kid's missing. We can't find them." And this woman stopped her show. She stopped the music. She had the house lights up. She was given a description of the child. She did a very active part to try and help find this kid and return it to their parents. And there have been other times where, like, concert goers have gotten rough with like their friends or their partners, and let's say you're like in the front and like the entertainer is looking down and seeing this. Like there have been times, I think like Kurt Cobain stopped a concert at one point because he saw some guy getting rough with his girl, and like he shamed this guy and had him removed from the concert.
But he didn't have Drake in the back he needed to bring out. That's what, but
I
that's,
didn't even like think about that shit. Like Drake hadn't gone on stage yet, right?
yeah.
No.
But
Tim McGraw, like, does Tim McGraw need Drake?
no, what I'm saying is
He didn't have another act behind him that was like. I mean, again, we always come back to business and money, right? Like we got this humongous show, and Travis Scott's a humongous artist.
and I
then on
got
top of that,
I got Drake
got
waiting
the
in the
biggest
back.
hip hop artist in the world that
I-
hasn't gone on stage
stage
yet,
yet,
and there's
yeah.
an ambulance in the crowd. Like they was all on some fuck shit at that point.
Yeah, we got to make sure. I this is the biggest show. I have to make sure that I show everybody how big this show is because I have the biggest hip hop act in the
Yeah.
world. I'm not saying that that's right.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just telling you
that had to be the mindset,
from
right?
the ego standpoint of why you don't stop something because it's to the point where it's if you're gonna. What is that thing that Kanye West says on Devil in a Blue Dress? It's hard to be humble when you're stunting on the Jumbotron, right?
Yeah.
So it's hard to be humble when you have literally 50,000 people to be there to see you. But then those 50,000 people,
Good.
those 50,000 people aren't actual people to you.
No, they're just numbers.
They're just numbers.
It's
They're
just money.
It's a sea of humanity of feeding my ego of being this major you're not even using your real name. So you're almost not even a real person at that point. You're just like,
A character.
yeah, and you're playing your
Yeah,
role.
that's exactly what you are. It's a performance.
But this
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
thing that separates people who are going to have long-term careers and those who are going to crash and burn. Like he's going to crash and burn now.
Ooh.
Travis Scott.
I mean, yeah, I think this is a crash and burn
This
sort
is
of
a
moment,
as,
right?
as
It
for,
could
it
be.
could
I don't
very
think it's set in stone yet, but like
No.
you inching towards it.
it could play out to where this because like no venue is going to want to mess with him now because he's too much of a liability depending on how this all plays out, like if he gets sued, if sue him win, all this other stuff. Like if you're going to have a crowd, if you're going to cultivate a following, that's great. Do that because clearly you've got a thing that people are into. But at the same time too, you could have 10 followers, you could have 10 million followers. You've got to at some point have some kind of responsibility for their protection in your company. Because at the end of the day, yes, they're numbers and they're making you money. But this kind of shit has a ripple effect. And if someone kind of goes, well, I like what they do, but I don't think I'll be going to any of their concerts anymore because I don't feel like getting stomped to death. You know, to me, it just seems like long-term effect is not worth whipping people up into a frenzy and putting people in danger and just for the sake
tell
of
you what.
publicity or ego or whatever.
Nobody ever really had a problem with them humongous ass Michael Jackson concerts back in the day when there was always ambulances and stretchers going through the crowd picking people up because they was passing out and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
But that's when they
Like,
were
it could-
allowed, like ambulance people, like EMTs were allowed to be able to navigate through a crowd to be able to do that. Like at this one,
But
like,
weren't
people were
like
physically-
passing out at Beatles concerts just because it's the Beatles?
well, yeah, because they get hyped up and then they just kind of pass out.
But nobody was dying. Like 9
No.
people died. Like
No.
there was a
No,
lack
no,
of
no.
institutional control here.
yeah,
You're-
of course.
Yeah, like you're talking about they've had large cons. That's what makes this very weird and strange. There have been like Live Aid concerts. There's been like major performances where you've had a lot of people there and everybody went home.
I don't think it's weird. I think what it is it's just telling. It's showing the audience what this creator thinks of the people who follow them.
And not just
That, they're-
based
that
off
you're
of
expendable and I don't give a shit about you.
and not just based off of the Astro World. It's just based off of how all his other, because that's what the one thing about this documentary is, showed a pattern of him not really caring about the people that are he cultivates a very passionate fan base.
Yeah.
So even if the people at home don't know who he is,
A 17-year-old white boys that like doing pills.
yeah,
Basically.
and black kids who like doing pills. I mean, and white girls and black girls who like doing, like he.
I mean, but you know, like by volume.
No, I'm saying
That's what
there's
I'm
a
saying,
whole
like, yeah.
culture going on
Yeah.
that he kind of speaks to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in a future kind of way. So yeah, no, that's I got like I
Yeah,
said,
my man Travis Scott out here furthering the opioid epidemic and shit.
well that's a lot of artists now. I mean, but I think the part of the issue is that us as America treat that as like it's legal drug, so it's cool. But we've already talked about that.
Yeah.
But I think now I wanted to get here's a subject I really wanted to get to. And probably the subject Mimi was like, what do you mean? What happened? 52 weeks. It's been a year. What's there happened in the year? I wanted to, like, this is going to be our last show
Oh yeah.
of,
Spoiler alert.
this is going to be our last show of the year. And I wanted to take at least a little bit of time to talk about just how this year has gone for all three of us and how we've all sort of our journeys through this year. Because I think if you're looking at it from a sense of accomplishment, that's evident. Like, of course, all three of us weren't doing a podcast before. All three of us weren't on, I wasn't on TikTok or Instagram or any of these platforms promoting anything.
Yeah.
Right.
And then now, fast forward, I'm doing all the things that I may have planned out and mapped out and said I'm going to do, but I'm doing it not necessarily with everybody I thought I was going to be doing it with. And so, the one regret that I have, and I was talking to somebody about this while I was doing my painting pottery, is everybody wants to feel like, okay, I'm going to write down a list. I'm going to do the things I say I'm going to do on the list.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be that way. And what happens when you accomplish everything on that list? You feel accomplished? How do you feel? I feel like for me, the one thing that I want to do better in 2022 is I want to enjoy the ride better.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I enjoyed this ride nearly as much as I should have. Mainly just due to the fact that I was very neurotic at points this year about the show and about things on the show and about who's hosting, about
And why?
And maybe about this loose cannon over here.
so I didn't enjoy, and I think that's a lot of people. I think a lot of people go so goal oriented.
Get caught up in this shit. Like,
Yeah.
Well, I think mainly just because I've never been goal oriented. I may have just thought shit was just gonna happen just because I'm Jamal, not just because.
I
because-
feel you. Yo. I
Huh?
feel you.
Yeah,
There's
things
a
are just
certain,
gonna
like-
work out because I'm me, and they're gonna work out that way. I
Yeah.
didn't ever think I needed to write down things, and then partly because here's the thing: what happens if you write it down and you set it as a goal and you do it and you really work towards it, and you like for me, fear of failure
Yeah.
was making me not want to do stuff like
Yeah.
that. So if it happened, just so happened to happen that way, it was a lot easier than to say, "Oh, I actually really worked towards this, and I didn't make it."
See, I see you use that fear in good ways and maybe some not so good ways. Like we already know about the not so good ones, but like the good ways fear worked out is like how when I came up in here, I was like, "Oh, you got a bunch of nice shit." Because like you started, you was like, I want this joint to sound like I'm getting like the stuff that we need is going to last us. You know what I'm saying? And like maybe that thought process is brought on by fear of not wanting to fail, but it's also like, it's one of the good sides. You can channel that energy into something else positive, and that was one of the ways you did that.
Yeah, and I think that in your very astute point there, I thought that whenever I got to a point where I was like, okay, this is working out the way I expected it to, like I said, there were points this year where it was like you two had to pull me back and be like, okay, like this is supposed to be fun too.
Like, whoa.
But then I
Yeah.
think that's what happens is like you
Balance it.
yeah, you got to balance it. And if you've never been in that space, if you never put yourself in that space, like you said, like I was like me and Wiley have a thing about being organized and, okay, what happens when you get organized?
Yeah.
You have to stay organized
Yeah,
and you have to
exactly.
keep that system going. And I think that was my thing is like, all right, I've climbed a mountain, maintaining my spot on that mountain or maintaining that balance where I'm fully functional human being is like, because I'm gonna be honest, this podcast was birthed out of a place of I was not in a good space mentally. I've talked about this on the podcast before about being at a break in December of last year. And I think a lot of things were going on all at once. And this was also weird with Mimi because it was a lot more time I was spending around her.
Yeah.
And
Just like he's always wanted.
but if this has affected our relationship, I don't know for like the better because I used to go to you for like stuff. Like when things was going on in my life or if I needed to like I don't do that so much. Most of the time now we talk about like
you know
the
what
pod.
though? But yeah, like I feel like there's not too much like I know you like the way you're thinking about like the way you see it, like yeah, that seems like a different kind of situation. I used to go to you for all these things and like now I don't. But like if you're thinking about it from the scope of like you just kind of turn those into a little bit of a group therapy session.
Kind of. Yeah.
And like every week, like there's something, whether it's one of the main things we talk about or not, you may bring up something that happened to you the past week, something that bothered you, something you've been thinking about, and we just kind of like talk through it on the show. So it's just like, it's just different. Like there's another person here now, and like, but you're still doing it. And you know what I mean? Like I don't want to. You were saying like not so much for the better.
I said I'm not sure.
You're not sure, okay?
Because I think
I guess I'm saying I think you can count that as a good thing. You know what I mean?
I
It's
would.
just things just changed a little bit.
I think relationships change over time anyway.
Yeah.
But I do think that there was. I mean, and maybe tell me if I'm speaking out of turn here with what I'm saying.
Well, I think what I'm hearing from you is like you were concerned about like I don't want to be overbearing to Mimi.
Yeah, in a sense where my thought was is that it was cool because like once we hit the doors at work and we left, that was it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and really, we don't outside of work, we don't talk. We don't really talk because we're either
I mean, but we talk like through.
we
It's,
talk all day at work. Because
uh,
how many times in our episodes, like throughout the weeks that we've been doing this, how many times have you heard Big J say, "I was talking to Mimi at work this week," and
Like
it prompted
every
it prompted
week.
then that, and that's what we end up talking. You talk to me. I think you talk to me more now as an equal rather than someone seeking from a. I don't want to say mentor because I don't know if you've ever really considered me a mentor, but
no,
someone
Mimi
of
was my
like
big sister.
okay, so I
Okay,
mean, I
yeah,
think
that
you
makes
you
sense.
regard me now more. We're more of like on equal footing rather than I come to big sister for stuff.
Which is, like I said, I think that's why I said I'm not sure if it that's better because I think I lost an outlet in that way. And in that sense, I lost like an outlet because there was some serious stuff going on at points where I was like, Mimi, tell me if I'm being toxic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no,
And
but
that's what I mean. Like there was some point, but I don't necessarily do that as much anymore.
but you can. I want you
I
can still
know,
do that.
but I know, but also there's a perception. That's another thing that's gone on here too, which is part of the reason why the chair shuffled around a little bit is the perception of even her husband said this last week,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
you
I
know
remember that.
I
Yeah.
winced because I was like,
God
damn it, yeah, that's exactly the stuff I was talking about.
Yeah.
I legitly didn't like the aspect that people thought that this was my show,
Yeah, like
and it because it wasn't. Like it real to me, it really was. The only thing I was responsible for was saying, "Hey, Wally, you want to be a part of the show? Hey, Mimi, you want to be a part of the show?" And both of you both said yes. From that moment on, we were all partners. But then it was also because to me, that's how it was.
yeah,
But for everybody else in the world, you're in the middle, you're the host, you're promoting it. And I was like, yeah, but like there's these other people's feelings that have to be taken into consideration.
Yeah.
So I think
yeah,
that was for me this year has been about personal growth. And I see it and I think the most thing I'm most proud of to wrap my part up is I saw personal growth within Wiley and Mimi. And like
that's
Wiley, you remember
interesting to
Mimi
hear.
when you first got here,
Yeah,
imposter syndrome out her
yeah,
ass.
yeah. Like man,
Yeah,
damn.
getting her on
Like I remember, like
camera.
one of the first times I came in here, I was like, I could smell that shit.
Yes, and
Sad panda.
she
Sad panda.
fought us on that. Remember
yeah,
that
yeah,
tooth to nail.
Yep.
And then I knew the progress had happened. Was one week she came to me and she was like, I think it was a part of a little bit of my imposter syndrome was why I was a little reluctant on this TikTok thing. Like I think people are just gonna get tired of hearing what I have to say, or I'm gonna run out of stuff to talk about.
Mhm.
And I was like,
I did say that.
and I remember thinking to myself, she's nuts. She has a great thing. She just needs to keep going forward with it.
Just, yeah,
Yeah,
I-
but like, yeah,
I think the issue with me with all that is the fact that even from like a little kid, anything that like creatively speaking that I've done has been in a group setting. So the idea
Mm.
of me being either the center of attention or like with the TikTok thing doing something completely on my own
in the closet.
in a closet. Yes. My little recording studio is one of my closets. But like the idea of
Was
me
mine.
creating something on my own, I think that was the part that I had to get like reconcile with because I've
Mhm.
only ever been creative in a team or group setting.
Mm.
So I think that's where some of that comes from. It's just the fact that doing something solo was just new. I've always been a part of something bigger than myself. So just having me as like the sometimes one and only was a weird concept at first.
I get that. Like you kind of like you're not gonna like really believe you're gonna be good at some shit when you ain't never done it before.
Mhm.
Like straight up.
And I think that's why you had such anxiety through the first year of us doing this is because everything was brand new. Like everything was more or less an experiment, a shot in the dark, a gamble. And of course that learning process, that growing is uncomfortable and sometimes scary. So I have a feeling this coming year when we start this up again, you're going to just kind of be more at ease because it's not so new and scary.
Yeah.
I think also just like I said, making a concerted effort to enjoy
Mhm.
even the push and pull and all the rest of that stuff. the 9 a.m. text from Wally saying, "Turn that shit off. I have a whole rollout plan that I didn't tell anybody about."
Hey man, look. Look.
What's up?
Sometimes I gotta text shit when I think of it, or I'm gonna fucking forget.
I was literally at work.
And like,
I was literally at work taking a deuce, and like
Bro, why? Why?
I get this like text from him, and it's like so like panicked, and I was just like, "What?" Like,
it wasn't even supposed to be panic. I was chilling like shit.
I thought
but
it was
very long though.
yeah, it was
That's why
very, like
seemed
to
that
me.
way.
I was like, "What's going on at 9 a.m.? What's happening?" And then I was like, "Well, while we're all talking, Mimi, are you okay?" Like,
Yeah, I didn't even know about that shit, man.
It's like,
I was like, hold on. What?
to be
happened
fair,
to
I have been
Mimi?
checking on Mimi the whole week. No, this is a side, but I've been checking on Mimi this whole week because, she may have gotten exposed. So I wanted to make sure she was good.
what a pain in the ass.
Yes.
Yeah.
She was not happy about that.
No, I was
bet.
not. I was not. So last Saturday, I had a client came in. I mean, and so at work, I still have the preference of like obviously working and keeping my mask on because I work in closed quarters with people. And so like the client was masked, I was masked, everything was hunky dory. Massage went fine, blah blah blah. Monday rolls around, nothing. Tuesday morning, well, I guess technically afternoon because it was my break time.
Yeah.
One of our front desk people comes into the break room and they're like, "So, we just got a call from one of our clients who tested positive for COVID." And I'm like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah, they're doing contact tracing and you were in direct contact with this person." And I'm like, "What?" So, as protocol, I had to leave right away, close off the rest of my day, go to a clinic, get a test, and I had to wait 48 hours for freaking results. So I had to lose 2.5 days of work essentially. Negative test, obviously, but because, fully vaccinated,
I wouldn't be
masked.
up with this motherfucker with you.
No, and that's the thing. It's like,
You wouldn't be here either. Like, what
no,
am
like I
talking
wouldn't be
about?
here either. But it's like the fact that I had to, like, this is reality now. This is gonna be life for a while. Even though I'm fully vaccinated, got my booster a few weeks ago, I wear masks. It's just like, as long as we keep getting like new variants coming out and shit, it's like, I was
Omarion out
so
here
annoyed.
killing folk, yo.
I was
Damn it, you
so
beat me to the Omarion.
so annoyed. Are
No,
you
but-
talking about Omicron?
Yeah,
Did you say
Omarion.
Omarion?
Yeah. He said Omarion,
It's
and I just...
Omicron.
It's
Omarion.
Omicron.
Omarion.
Yeah,
That's
no.
what I said.
No.
All right. But the thing about it was, I was looking at the schedule, and I was like, shit, she disappeared again.
I did.
Ah.
It's like you were not to follow me this time.
I was like, so I sent it before I made any assumptions. I just sent a text, say, "Hey, everything all right?"
Yep.
And then she told me what happened, and then like literally everybody kept asking me like, "Is she okay? When she coming back?" And I was like,
Friday.
I said Friday she should be back. She came back negative. She's gonna be good, But like, I did want to make sure that she was all right because she checks on me whenever I was sick, which is something she did not think to start doing at the beginning of this year. So progress. She did see, like you
I'm
were.
gonna get guilt tripped out of checking in on you now. That's where that's gonna go. I'm gonna get guilt tripped out of checking in on you now.
Also, Wally, I think for me, looking at this year with you and and your growth,
I'll still be late every week.
It's okay. We'll work on it.
but what I did like was
22 is gonna be a whole new year.
I liked how alive you got when you had the opportunity to show off your talents. I like giving you a creative outlet, and then I think it also helped you with your creative juices in other areas. And I noticed that, and I think that was the part that, like I said, when I said talk about being proud, I thought that's like dope because it was like I know what it's like to have all this talent and not have any place to put it, or for people to not even know it.
Yeah.
And I thought that having that kind of space, and that's why it was like a no-brainer because I remember the look you got when you looked at Scarlett. And I remember, and I remember feeling
I was
like,
looking at it. I was like, I am rock hard.
Cue the video of the thing shooting up.
Like,
What the?
And that's been dope.
nah, like I know I've said it, like how much I appreciate that before, but like you're right. Like I have like, you know, the one of the big problems I was having is that I finally had found a job where I was able to use like my creativity. I was able to write and edit photos and do all this other stuff that I've been wanting to kind of get into, you know, in my career and shit. But at the same time, I would drain all my creative energy at work. And it still happens sometimes, you know what I mean? But like to the point where I couldn't really do anything creative outside of work. So on one hand, I didn't have an outlet for the rest of the stuff, but on the other hand, I just didn't have that energy even though I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? And like you guys placed me in a spot where like I got something recurring every week. You got something to do and I have to work on something to get it ready, you know, afterwards. And like that definitely helped me improve at a whole bunch of different stuff.
Because I remember whenever it was me and you did the solo thing, and we just started looking around this place, and we were like, "Yo, we need to have this right here. We need to put this together. We need to make sure we started thinking like we could live better than this."
Yeah, exactly. You know, like for real, and look better than this, but also not like go broke doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's tools, like access to things is just way different than it was when we were in high school. You know what I'm saying? So like we can like actually do this.
Yeah, and like I said, we were able to like brainstorm a couple and then that's why when I was like I texted Bodo like Mimi didn't get it, but I was like organization because I wanted to make sure that stuff went where it was supposed to go.
Yeah.
I was like
making big progress out here. Like,
yeah. So no, it to me because I struggle with the same thing. So it was cool being able to notice that there's an issue and then sort of find ways to like go around that without completely jumping into like I'm uncomfortable with how much I'm changing and all the rest of that. So
that's been part of the process here too, because like I'm basically working with a bunch of disjointed knowledge in terms of the things that I don't do every day, like all the video stuff and the lighting and all that kind of stuff. We're all here for all that damn trial and error, that real shitty camera that I had you buy.
oh, poor little
all that
camera.
stuff, man.
Aw.
Just so much to like get to the point where like if you know, like you said, you were getting organized. We got like most of the gear that we need. We could like take this, put it in a bag and go. That's how efficient it is. You know what I mean? Like, and we've like worked up to that point.
Yeah.
And
Even
now,
the table.
Yeah.
Even the table was
too.
an evolutionary process.
Yeah.
and I think it was really great that we did it together.
Yeah.
Even and we had downs.
Yeah.
There's been some learning curves
Yeah,
involved.
for sure.
And you know, me and Wally got into a little bit of that, but like Mimi had to play referee one time.
Oh yeah, like shit.
And I think that was a part of like that was a big part of the process of us all learning about, all right, we have these two very strong-willed people, and you have this one person that's like, all right, how do we make all these two pieces fit?
Yeah. we got lots of good ingredients here. How do we make a final product that still looks good, sounds good, and everyone's like copacetic at the end of it?
I'm gonna be honest, I haven't admitted this on the podcast. I was a little nervous because like I felt like our chemistry was off for a little bit.
Bro.
Yeah, I did. I thought it was a little off. I felt like, because here's the thing. The one thing that we are really great and consistent at is our lack of communication amongst each other. For people that talk as much as we do, we do not talk enough about everything that needs to be all the way. So like there was legit issues that like needed to get worked out, that the only thing that we were consistent about was not talking about our issues and showing up every week.
Yeah.
And that's really all the thing we did was like, he's going to be here. There was one week I didn't think you were going to come.
Yeah. I was about to talk about that week. That one of those weeks, like I left and I didn't say shit to either of y'all the entire week. All I did, I like edited the audio, I edited the video, I posted it. I didn't even tell y'all that I did it. I just like
and
uploaded
I told
this
you
shit
about that too, Mimi.
and then showed up on Sunday.
I was like, I don't think he's coming. I was like, I don't think the dude is coming.
Well, no, because I think I like towards I think it might have been that Friday or Saturday. I
Yeah.
texted. I was like, hey,
Oh yeah.
Like,
That's right.
are you good?
Yeah.
Can we like? Do you need to talk? Like,
Yeah.
Oh, that happened.
Yeah, I
didn't-
forgot about that. Yeah, she
I
did.
didn't-
She
Did I
reached out
not
to me
tell
on
you?
Friday.
No,
yeah.
she never. You didn't tell.
It was just because it
Once
was
again,
it's
it's a
Whoops.
communication
Yeah.
thing. Because
But yeah.
because there's a lot of times where because we do have each other's numbers, if it's not happening in the group chat,
yeah.
I don't assume it's happening.
Yeah.
But like, because I
Because a
remember
lot of times we'll post stuff that is only supposed to go to one other person in the group chat just because. I
Right.
don't know. I do that at a habit sometimes. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like when you think like, everything's going through the group chat, like it's weird when you hear about something else. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
even a big deal, but
and you're
it's
like,
just
wait,
like,
when
oh.
did we talk about
because
that?
that's why you were confident he was coming. Because I didn't think
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and see,
Yeah.
no, I like because I had reached out and I was like, hey, if we need to talk, it's cool. Like let's
Yeah.
talk. Let's try and get some understanding going on. And that's why I was like, yeah, no, he's gonna be here on Sunday.
Yeah, I was
He's
just
coming?
like, I forgot because it was a short convo. You know, it was just I was like, I'm cool, we're good. You know,
Yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
I
And that
had
was
no
it.
idea. I literally
yeah,
was
yeah.
shocked.
Yeah, my bad, yo. And
Yeah,
I
no.
be forgetting that, like, man, you do the thing I do where you be spiraling down shit in your head. I should have told you that.
Yeah, no, because like for me, because that became our language. We just didn't talk about shit.
yeah,
and then,
yeah.
like literally, it was like the other week we actually ironed out something that needed to get completely ironed out.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, we all understand what was going on.
I was
Yeah.
just afraid of exploding and shit.
Yeah,
You know,
and
I
that's
roll
fair.
in it.
And that's fair. And I think that was one of the things too this year. Like, if it's like once you came on to the show and started becoming like you were a constant fixture, like he and I have had a few years to kind of figure out each other's communication styles.
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys have had a few years, some history of knowing how your communication styles were. But we had a huge curveball.
Yeah.
You were way behind the 8 ball trying to
Yeah,
figure that
yeah.
out. So I think.
We kind of had to figure that shit going along.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where this coming year is going to be a lot more streamlined for a lot of reasons because we're getting a better idea of personalities, communication styles,
Yeah.
triggers, like all these other things
We
that.
starting out as a crew, like
Yeah.
not trying to.
Yeah, and I mean, fortunately, we've had really good. I think all things considered, we've had really good chemistry starting off with literally not knowing about each other's existence
Yeah. You
until
two
just
not
a few
knowing
months.
each other at
yeah,
all.
At
yeah.
all, yeah. That's what everybody who says something about that outside of the show is like. You know, just the entire group's chemistry is really good. Yeah,
Mhm.
and I guess that we started off on a high note there.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
felt good. And Mimi was like, we're not going to do a couple of try runs. No.
No.
He,
No.
like, Mimi
Actually, he was a guest, and you're like, so what do you think about him being on the show? I'm like, yeah, we could give it a shot.
I
You know,
think
try
Mimi
it out.
Mimi brought it up first.
Yeah, and that's what you told me. You told me the first time, like when you told me about it, she was the one who mentioned it first, bringing me on full time first,
Yeah, and then
and you was like, I don't know.
I don't know. I hadn't really. It was like I thought it was a good guest or whatnot, but
Yeah.
he argued with me the whole time.
Yeah. He was like, you think like he'd be a good addition to the show? And I was like, yeah, after we could, do a few trial runs, try some episodes out and see how it goes. Next episode, we got ourselves a new host.
Yeah, she's listening to it. I was like, yeah, I was thinking about getting you like a chain of paper clips to go around your neck, but like, it literally. And at that point, Mimi had did all the editing for the show.
Oh, yeah, and
I
I kinda-
struggled. It was such a struggle. I'm so, among many reasons, I'm so happy we have you.
Yeah. Like
It was not a good time for me in a lot of ways.
that's one of those things that I could feel when I came in here. It was like y'all were doing the editing. You were doing the editing for the audio and
I
everything.
tried.
And at the same time, by the time we, I think, did our third episode when I was like in here for real, I had started to think about YouTube already.
Yeah.
And I was like, in my head, I'm like, if we're going down that road, I'm not gonna put that shit on your back.
Because I'd have been straight up, be like, I can't. I'm gonna have to go take classes. I'm gonna have to.
Like I know you ain't.
I wasn't. It's
For
just,
many, no,
I
and
was
there
like, this
was
is
other.
supposed to be my job because like I literally like
it is
have a
your
degree
thing.
in this shit, and you know what I
Yes.
mean. Like I know all of this stuff, so I was like, I gotta do this. I have to take this off her back because she's gonna go bald or something.
Yeah.
And then we
for
had
real.
to, and we, and we literally had to be like, "Yo, we can do YouTube." She's like, "You sure? Like YouTube? And I was just like,
Like,
yeah,
you mean the YouTube?
yeah." And literally,
What
because
did Michael Scott saying that one ever? We got to get YouTube to come down here and tape this.
Right.
And this
But
is
yeah.
before you did your TikTok and the whole,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. This was
And,
before I was, like you always try to say, before I was famous.
Yeah, yo.
well, before you got comfortable. I think there's been like I was telling her before the podcast, the very first episode we was talking about the Meghan Markle thing, and I threw it to her for an opinion, and she literally threw the deadest
I said words.
fish
I said
and
words.
threw it back at me, and I was like, I can't do anything with what you just said.
And see, I can't remember specifically what I said, but you know what? I think part of it was there was a lot of layers going on to that response, but I think some of it was like, I don't know if as a white woman I can have opinions about like people who are like mixed race or things like I don't think I can have an opinion on this
I
stuff.
remember hearing that part.
I was
yeah.
like, yo, the whole purpose of the whole thing is to keep the ball in the air
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
not
you
let
threw a
it
balloon
drop.
at me and I went,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
I like
Yeah.
popped it back at you.
yeah, and I was like, you let the ball drop. Okay, I guess I'll continue
Yep.
forward.
And see
Yep.
that there is a role that I love playing because like if for even if I come in here unprepared mentally and shit, I'm really good at keeping the ball off the floor.
Yes.
Yes.
No one will ever accuse you of not being interesting.
No. Of never
Yeah,
not
yeah.
having something to say.
that is a part of my life that I do enjoy.
I think what sealed it for me, and the reason why I made the unilateral decision,
Mm.
it was when I listened. It was the reaction you got when you came on from
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
and they were like, they thought we were getting ready to fight. And I remember thinking to myself, that was the furthest thing from what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, that's it. Because Mimi is as wonderful as she is. She's not going to challenge me the same way that Wally will
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
No.
subject. And at least not like I'm going to die on this hill.
Yeah. Like not in
Yeah.
a visceral
That's
way.
that's
Yeah.
that energy you need on any show where there's like three. I guess any more than one person. You know what I mean? Like you need that in some kind of form or fashion.
And the person that I was thinking about having before you was supposed to bring that. And then it just became a TED talk between me and Mimi, which was cool, but it was wasn't the vibe that I was going for.
Yeah,
But then I
yeah.
thought to myself, it was more important that me and Mimi develop our chemistry and develop our thing on the mics so that we're able to kind of give like the best show
Yeah.
possible.
Yeah.
And so, yeah,
Working out because everybody like speaking on a mic is hard, man.
It is.
For most people, a microphone being stuck in their face will make them nervous. Like that's just a fact. You know what I'm saying? If you don't do it all the time. So like sitting here people think that like you just sitting here talking, it's just you sitting here talking, but like you doing so many other things that you may or may not even need to be doing at the time while you're on this mic, right?
paying attention and making sure that, like you said, keeping the ball in.
Yeah.
One thing that I know that I liked about it was me and Mimi come with these facts and figures, but it's all in our head for the most part.
Yeah.
Like Mimi is just very great at
Well, unless I have my little blue book of knowledge.
which,
Yeah.
and that's mainly on like really serious topics, but
Yeah.
like on
jot a
others.
whole bunch
Yeah.
of stuff down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where I need to get that stuff right.
Most of the time, we're doing a whole Rain Man thing of like,
Yeah, that's my style. Yo.
like the one thing that I think, the one reason why I was shocked whenever you told me about your TikTok videos about how you don't necessarily have anything written down, it was like that's a lot to remember to say and not have something written down, and it seems like it's going someplace. But now I was like, well, damn, she does that every week. Like,
Yeah.
and I think that's what kind of I think that's why I say I'm the most proud of how this little science experiment, as I called it, has affected all of us. And I'm just really proud of everyone. And I want to tell you guys, love you guys, man.
I always love you too, man.
I still love
Are we doing
you.
like a Power Rangers thing?
Hey, go ahead. Mastodon.
I was mostly thinking of like a Sailor Moon thing, but
Oh. So those TikTok
Okay.
girls painting, they're all, oh no, you said you like Hispanic chicks, not Asians.
oh my God, those are so fun.
Anyway.
Hey, look.
Whenever the algorithm and you speak the same language, you like how I did that? So
I'm
do
not
you have-
touching that. I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it.
So,
Nope.
so did you have a word for this week?
Yes, I did. Avert your eyes, both of you.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'm always looking at the titties.
this week is the letter C, and we have a verb this week. It's a verb, not an adjective. It's a verb this week.
Okay.
Centuplicate.
Centuplicate?
CENTUPLICATE. Centuplicate.
To make multiple copies of a specific thing.
Yes, actually. But in a specific, think of the word, break the word apart. So you are absolutely spot on, but it's
The second half,
specific.
right?
No, it's
The first half is
making copies of something, but I
Yes.
don't know exactly of what. Though. That's the part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you nailed it. This is the first time a word has actually that's the second time. I think there was another word.
Yeah, there was
that
a
you
word I
had.
knew that I think you said or something, but
Yeah.
I knew what that was.
Yeah, centuplicate.
You know where I found that out
Something
from?
about doing this shit 5 times and
Higher up.
6, 7 on it.
There we go. To make something 100 of something,
100
to
times,
replicate
yeah.
or to expand something by 100.
What's that movie from back in the early '90s? It was Mike Myers was on it.
Wayne's World?
Wayne's World.
Oh, I was like,
Yeah, he
Austin
said
Powers.
and he said triplicate. And that's
Oh,
what made me
yeah,
think
yeah,
of
yeah.
it. And she has like that big stack of forms. So
Yeah.
then that's what
Oh.
made me think of it.
Yeah, but no, it is to make something, to create or replicate something 100 times over.
Look at me hitting
That was
them
a
from
good
the
one.
arc.
Good job.
So wish.
Alrighty. So anybody else?
There is
So-
something we didn't talk about.
what was that?
Christmas sweaters. Our
Well,
ugly ass.
Two of us at least understood the assignment.
Yeah, you just got
I-
an ugly shirt on.
First,
Grill 'em. The reason I wanted to bring up our Christmas sweaters is because, well, first off, Mimi's is interesting because it was supposed to have lights on it.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I
supposed
mean?
to. It's got like three little lights on it, and it's supposed to light up like a cat strung up in.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I also, because I got this one specifically for Big J. Does anybody recognize this?
Abbey Road, the Beatles.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw this and I was like, okay, that's the one. That's it. I'm leaving the store. So yeah,
because he likes the Beatles, and I don't like the Beatles.
yeah, pretty much.
You don't like anything about the Beatles?
No, I don't want to hold your hand.
But like they've got such classic songs.
Like what?
Well, I mean, you literally just
No,
named.
no, no. But like what?
What do you mean, like
That's
what?
not a classic. I want to tell you something. I want to, like, what? Come on. What are we saying? They weren't great singers and they weren't great songwriters. Like, what are you guys talking about? They were like the Backstreet Boys of the 60s.
They were
and
the
you guys
voice of
want
an
me-
era. They were the voice
So
of an
was
era,
NSYNC.
man.
So was NSYNC.
And there would be people who will argue that they too, of their decade, were the greatest group of all time.
Yeah, I'm
Wow.
gonna just exit this one because
Listen,
I know last week I was playing when I was like, you don't know what the fuck you talking about. We were talking about Michael and Prince, but like you actually don't.
No, he's very upset because he like I don't listen. All the
Wait,
music,
so were you Team Prince or Team Michael?
He was Team Prince.
I was Team Prince.
Okay.
And everything he was
120%.
saying was bullshit.
See, here's the thing that I in
He was talking about he took a trash song and he took a trash song
That
and made
song
it
is
tight when
terrible.
this song was a legendary
song is terrible.
Like, it's not terrible.
that
yo.
song is terrible.
I mean, you both can at least agree that they were great entertainers for very different reasons.
That's what I was trying to
Talking about
say.
who,
Like
Prince and Michael?
yeah,
Well, I say not the Beatles.
my opinion
No,
is that neither one of
but
them is
yes,
better
them
than
too. But we're
other.
talking about
no, not the Beatles.
yes, the Beatles.
Yeah, the Beatles.
We're talking about Michael and Prince right now.
Can I
the
ask a
Beatles
question?
in terms of like they like what they were to like rock and pop music, just in terms of like overall feel and song structure and the
Yeah.
popularity of their easily singable songs.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? Like just because some shit wasn't like insanely complicated doesn't mean it sucked. And that's usually where I hear people going to. Like the Beatles got a whole bunch of like simple sounding. You go like this when you listening to it and shit.
So did the Beach
But, like,
Boys.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
people
them
love
too.
the Beach
Yeah,
Boys.
exactly, and that's what I'm saying.
Their
Like,
songs
I
are
just don't-
identifiable now.
I don't elevate them more. I feel like here's the thing, and here it goes to a deeper issue.
And I'm going to tell you who he sounds like in a second.
Here's the thing. Here's the deeper issue that goes to it. I respect people who are musically inclined.
Mhm.
I respect their opinion. I've even asked your opinion on things when it's come down to singers.
Yeah.
So I'm not here to disrespect your opinion, and I know
Yeah.
that comes off that way. My thing about it is that it's like when anybody, like any sort of intellectual, is having a conversation.
Mhm.
This is exactly the way it is, and no one else can have an opinion outside of what this multi-person panel of people judging
Yeah.
all of music feel about something. No one can ever say, "No, that group sucks," or else they don't know anything about music, anything about culture, or anything about anything.
When you say a group sucks, that literally like set so many precedents and blazed trails and stuff like that. When you say somebody like that sucks, people are gonna immediately call you out on your bullshit because it is bullshit.
No, because
like you can't deny
opinion.
popularity and all
It's
that
an
other kind of stuff, yo.
opinion.
Yeah.
And just because something is popular doesn't make it good.
No, you're right.
And an idea can be popular and it could just be wrong. And I'm not. And
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's true.
And my thought process is I can be wrong on the Beatles. That's fair. Hey, listen, I haven't studied music the way you do. My opinion is not as qualified as yours. I've always said on this podcast, if you're listening to me fully and solely, you're not really doing your best work. And if you're listening to the media fully and solely, you're not doing your best work either. I've been remarkably consistent on either all these two things.
That is true. That is true.
So my thing about it is,
maybe I need to write a dissertation or some shit about it.
Yeah.
'Cause, like the real issue here is that like I can explain all that shit very thoroughly, but it would take like 3 hours, and I'd go be all over the place and disorganized.
We need a whiteboard.
But like I feel you.
who do I sound like, Mimi?
You sound like a film critic.
But that's
You
what,
sound like a film.
But
and,
that's
and
what
what is
film,
it?
that's what
and what is
music
it every
critics
single
and
time?
film critics sound the
You-
same way to me.
and
Like
think
they
about
found, like,
that.
and
Think about
that's
that.
annoying
The
as shit
film
to me.
critics. Wait a minute, because the film critics are looking at it from an intellectual, structural, like this is how like the score works with the film. This is how the flow is. This is the film lenses that they use, the lighting, the how easily that they made scenes flow from things to things like this. How intellectual it is. Like, does this make a person think? Or is it just something that you just are here to watch? Because many times, if you think about it, all of the films that the film critics rave about, I have gone to the theater and I've watched it and I'm like,
No, I hated
Why?
The Shape of Water.
but then you go to the shit that they're like,
I
it's just
hated
it's
it.
basic. It's basic. There's nothing there. Like they just Rotten Tomatoes it all over the place. But you go and you watch and you're like, that was amazing. Like it doesn't have to be
But see,
highfalutin. It has to be something that people can connect with and enjoy. It doesn't matter if it's like complex or complicated or deep
but here's
or
the
anything
problem with
like
that,
that.
Mimi,
What?
is that you're the harshest film critic at this table. That's the problem
No,
with
I am the harshest actor critic, not film critic.
like
actor
literally,
critic.
like you literally have not liked anything as far as movie goes. Like so that's what makes your point stands. I agree with your point, but you are one of the harshest critics in general.
So I
Funny
wasn't a
shit.
huge fan of Suicide Squad 2. Shoot me. Like what? I did give it points. I gave it points, and I explained why I gave it.
Arguingly, like
Look,
begrudgingly,
But I
and
did.
She
But
did.
I was like, look, this section of the movie I really got into. This section of the movie could have left it, and here's why. It's not that I hated the whole movie. It's just that there were parts of it that I was like, yes, I could watch this again, and there were parts where I'm like, why am I watching this?
No, but I'm with you on your overall point. Like, I hated The Shape of Water, and every film critic wanted to tell me how amazing it was and all the different shades of green.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't give a shit about the shade of green. I just want to watch a movie that you said was good, and I don't
And
think
it's-
a girl masturbating in a bathtub for 3 scenes out of a movie is really great.
Look, not everyone can paint a door, okay?
Or a ceiling.
Okay, so
Especially if you're a woman.
thank you guys for joining us this year.
I'll go. Oh damn. Oh God. Sorry. Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm wrong.
Anyway,
Okay.
so We will be back in the new year.
Yeah.
We hope that you guys have a fantastic holiday season, whichever of the many holidays from now until the beginning of the year that
So
you
like
celebrate.
the week of the 9th, right? We'll be back on the week of the 9th.
I guess.
Probably,
that
yeah.
works.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like I think the first is like on a Saturday or so.
Yeah.
I think
That's-
so,
that's
yeah,
Like
so-
well after you gonna get drunk as shit on your birthday and all that.
We're gonna we're having an outing, guys.
Yeah.
That's right, we
Yeah,
are.
We're
yeah.
all gonna be hanging out as a crew.
Yes, I'm
Yes,
so excited.
Queen at the Cheesecake Factory. Basic bitch.
They got everything up
They
in there.
really do, and their food. I don't know. People are like, they don't make everything from scratch. Like their food's good. Their cheesecakes are just ridiculous.
Like I don't get motherfucker. I be eating like chips and shit.
Right.
Like
Like
the
put
fuck I'm
a
worried
bowl
about
of
it.
pasta in front of me, and unless it's frozen solid, I'll eat it and be like, yeah, this
Yeah.
is pretty good.
I be eating stuff where the ingredients list on the back is like 45 things long, and I can't like say half of them Jones. So
Mhm.
like what I'm gonna be worried about at Cheesecake Factory.
See, I'm gonna need to find me someone to go with because it turned into strangely a couples thing. Even
That
though I invited
Literally
two,
was by design.
I,
You
I
did that.
invited two couples.
You did that
And didn't realize like I'm fifth wielding it. This is
at my own birthday.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like
I
that
was
ain't gonna
this
fly,
is,
right?
This is gonna be a little sad. So
Hey, somebody better make that hotline bling.
Someone get this guy a date.
I will be by myself. But thank you guys
He's
for
gonna be over
joining.
there on the wall like, hey girl, how you doing?
Oh,
My
Charlie.
name is Charlie.
Oh God.
Last name Wilson. I was wondering if I could take you out. Okay, I'm done.
Wait, didn't I say you sounded
When
like
I do
Nina-
that, it's
Simone?
usually because I don't remember the next line of
That's
the song
fair.
and shit.
Remember when I said you sound like Nina Simone? You're like, who?
I didn't say. I was just like, how did you get that? How did you hear Nina Simone?
Yeah. Yeah, no, you sound like a little bit of Nina Simone. There,
Yeah.
there was a little pain in your voice.
Okay,
Heard.
I get that, but like every singer back then had pain in their voice, like literally.
It was like a requirement.
Yeah,
It was
if
standard.
yeah,
You aren't in pain. Don't even bother singing.
if you were a Black American musician, like, damn, I was about to say any time before, and then I couldn't think of a decade.
But I was gonna say,
It's still
yeah.
Anytime before now.
If you're a Black musician and you got any semblance
Period.
of talent in your voice, then you
I was
got
about to
pain
say,
in
wait a
it.
minute. I was say, is that like your "Make America Great" thing, or like what were you doing there? Like you know how when they say "Make America Great" and it was like when, like you know, what I'm saying?
Oh,
yeah, you
oh.
were like if you're a Black American,
That's not what I thought you were talking. I was like,
no.
wait, what?
no.
I was just saying, like, I was trying to say that all Black singers before whatever point had some pain in their voice, and I was trying to think of what that point was, but like then I realized that there isn't one.
Like,
It hasn't ended yet.
It's always been there.
Yeah, so like then I was like, yeah, if you're Black and you're a talented singer, you likely got pain in your voice.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Lots of it. But anyway, so
Well,
yeah.
we'll be back on the week of the 9th,
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
and thank you guys for joining us.
Yes.
It's been a nice ride, and hope it continues moving forward.
Oh, and well, they weren't
With
gonna
the
see.
rest of you guys.
No, they're not gonna see this for Mimi's TikTok live tonight. So,
Oh yeah.
Oh.
but check out her videos.
Yes.
She does a great job talking to herself. She does an amazing job.
Talking to myself.
Dealing with all them lost souls.
Yes,
Yeah. So
Hermes and them.
stop it.
What's Stephen A. Smith say? Hermes and them boys.
Yo, that-
Anyway. Bye, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.